bodies I have in mind, and how they change to assume new shapes. I ask the help of the gods, who know the trick. Change me, let me glimpse the secret and speak, better than I know how, of the world's birthing and the creation of all things, from the first to the very latest.
Before there was water and dry land, or even heaven and earth, nature was all the same, what we call chaos, with no sun to shed its light, nor moon to wax and wane, nor earth hung in its atmosphere of air. If there was water and dry land, there was no discernible shoreline, no way to walk on one, or swim or sail on the other. There was no reason or order, until, at last, a god sparked, glowed, then shone like a beam of light to define heaven and the earth, and water from dry ground.
Once these distinctions were made, and matter began to behave, the sky began to display its array of stars, its constellations, a twinkling template of order. The sea upon which it shone quickened with fish, the woods and the meadows with game, the air with twittering birds, each order of creature settling into itself.
A paradise, it would seem, except one thing was lacking: words.
And so, man was born. He was born so that he might talk.
Some say that God perfected the world, creating in his divine substance the race of humans.
Others maintain that we come from the natural order of things.
But, one way or another, people came, erect, standing tall with their faces not set down at the dirt beneath their feet, but upward, towards the sky in pride or perhaps nostalgia.
What would you do with all the money in the world?
What a question.
I know what I do. Do you want to know what I do?
No.
I'd never do laundry again.
That's it. That's the big dream.
Among other things.
Do you want to hear a story?
About rich people?
Yes.
Always.
There was a certain king named Midas, net worth 100 billion.
Now, I'm not a greedy man, but it is an accepted fact, a proven fact, that money is a good thing. A thing to be longed for, a necessary thing. And my God, do I have a lot of it. It wasn't always this way with me. The boats, the houses by the sea, the summer cottages and winter palaces, the soft clothes, the food, and, sweetheart, will you stop that now? Be still, Daddy's talking. Where was I? Oh yes, the food, the 100-year-old wine. No, it wasn't always this way with me. I came up from poor and I worked hard all my life. Still do, mind you. My father was a minor manufacturer in, somewhere. But I worked hard all my life. I always had a head for business, and it was almost as if everything I touched turned to gold. Sweetheart! Daddy asked you. Be still. Take it inside. You see this pool? It cost a pretty penny, I can tell you that much. But all it takes is hard work. Plain and simple. Those who haven't got it, well, they just haven't got it. Quit it! Cut it out! But at the end of the day, I always remember that family is the most important thing. Yes, that's it. One's own family. Not anyone else's, for God's sake. When I come home at midnight 7 days a week, in the moments before sleep, I realize that, where was I? I realized that, family is what really matters.
Sir?
Yes, what is it?
This man's been making trouble in the town. We believe he's a vagrant, sir, of the worst and most drunken kind. Hello, King! What should we do? nice place. Execute him?
No need, no need. I've certainly been 3 sheets to the wind in my day.
3 sheets to the what? What the hell are you talking about, King? I am all rummed up.
Just last week at the feast for,
Let me tell you something. You know what?
What?
Let me tell you.
Yes?
Let me tell you something.
Yes, what is it?
I've been all over the world.
Oh, have you now?
Yes. I'm lost now, but I have been all over the place.
Well, how very nice for you then.
You listening? Well, let me tell you, there is a country beyond this one where,
Well, that sounds very nice, but I really must be,
No, listen. I'm lost, and there is a country beyond this one where,
Asia.
further.
Africa.
No, further than that, over the ocean. I've been there.
Oh.
King, I tell you, it's like a dream. I am telling you that in this place, the people, they see each other. They live without desire of any kind, and so there is no time. It's just the pretty blue sky, and the moon at night, and the meadows under their feet, and the yellow flowers, and...
Well, that really is very nice.
And the people, they live forever.
What?
They live forever. They never die.
Well, what is it? Some kind of herb they have? Some,
No.
Well, something in the air then. We could distill it and bring it here. I have shipping fleets, to,
No, it's...
Well, what is it then? What is it?
Is that your daughter?
What? Yes, go! I'm taking it inside. Be still for once in your life.
You're rich indeed.
Oh, go on then. Is it some kind of animal? Even better if it's an animal. We could breed them here. My God, think of the millions. Don't worry, young man. You'll get your kind.
No, it's...
Well, what is it then? What is the secret to eternal life?
It's here.
A formula. You have it. A formula.
No. It's here.
What?
And here.
Oh, the internal life. What foolishness. All right then, you may sleep in the cabana.
Thank you.
Oh, for God's sake, someone come and turn him over. Someone flip him over before he drowns.
Night fell, but when the rosy-fingered dawn came back again,
Midas,
Good Lord, who's there?
it's Bacchus. I hear you have a follower of mine.
A follower.
Yes, Silenus. He wandered far from our group as we closed past the town, and I hear he's with you.
Oh, the man in the cabana. Yes, please take him. He's all yours.
I'm so grateful, Midas, that you didn't let him drown in his condition. I'd like to present you with a gift.
A gift.
Some ability, minor miracle, something to do at parties.
Anything.
Anything at all.
You promise.
Yes, of course.
All right then. Then grant me that anything I touch, anything I should lay my hand to, will turn to solid gold.
That's a really bad idea.
What do you mean it's a bad idea? It's a brilliant idea.
Think about it, Midas.
No, you think about it. You gave your oath. We had a deal, for God's sake. Now follow through.
All right, then.
and from that moment on, everything he touched turned to solid gold.
Wait a minute. Let me think of where to begin.
He went out walking, and with every step, the gravel under his feet turned to golden nuggets. Delighted, he put his hand to branches of trees and to flowers, and he had gold branches and flowers. All day long he experimented, almost insane with happiness, that the whole of the world could become his personal treasure. Late at night, he stumbled into the courtyard, laden with precious gold.
No! Marcus, take it away.
I can't.
No, please. Marcus, take it away from me.
I'm sorry.
Please, I beg of you. Please, take it away. I'll do anything, please.
There is one way, Midas.
What is it? What is it? I'll do anything.
Walk as far as the ends of the earth, find a pool of water that reflects the stars at night. Wash your hands in it, and there's a chance everything will be restored.
Was that too sad for you?
A little.
All right then, here's another.
There once was a king named Ceyx, who had as his queen Alcyone, daughter of Aeolus, master of the winds. These two adored each other and lived in a monotony of happiness. But nothing in this world is safe.
It isn't true.
It is.
One day Alcyone had heard that Ceyx had ordered his ship to be made ready for a sea voyage, to visit a far-off oracle.
How can you leave me alone? I'll pine in your absence. Overland, it's a long and arduous journey, but I'd still prefer that to a voyage by sea, which I fear for my father's winds are wild and savage. You think, as his son-in-law, you may get some special treatment. Not so. Once they've escaped the cave, they are wild and beyond anyone's control. As a girl, I learned to fear them when I watched them come home, exhausted and spent. Now, I am petrified, surely.
She said,
If you die, my life is over, and I shall be cursed with every reluctant breath I draw.
My love, I hate to choose between my journey and you, but how can I live this way? Stranded on shore, afraid, domesticated, diminished, kind of lapdog?
Well, take me with you at least, and we can meet the storms together, which I fear much less than to be left a widow.
In 2 months' time, I'll be back.
No, I fear you won't. I know you won't.
In 2 months' time. For that short time, you can be brave and endure the trial of waiting.
she was hardly consoled, but she saw that she could not hold out any longer in the face of his resolve. She allowed herself to be soothed and consented to his going. There were no more details left to be checked, no last-minute changes to make, and the men arranged on their benches were ready to row and go. He boarded the ship and gave the sign, and then he turned to wave at her. She waved at him while the ribbon of black water widened between the ship and shore, but she could still see the ship. She gazed still, and it narrowed into a smaller and smaller object. And then the whole hull was gone, and only the sails remained, and then they too disappeared. She gazed still at the empty and desolate blue, and then went into her empty bedroom to lie on the huge and vacant bed and gave herself over to weeping.
The vessel cleared the harbor and caught the freshening wind, which set the rigging to singing and slapping against the spars. I ordered my rowers to ship their oars and the sailors to set yards and make sail. Our ship ran before the wind. We made satisfactory progress all that day, up to a point of no return, with as much blue water astern remained ahead.
But as the sun sank in the west, the water, everywhere blue until now, began to reflect, with the white-capped waves sailing just like.
The weather was worse with each moment, but the winds were on the loose.
Reef the sails, bail the water, secure the spars.
But Poseidon, in his henchman, have arrived. The wreck has been enormous breeze and tragedy.
We thought the waves were all for us. Freezing.
Let's return their bizarre passions and try to rise up and embrace the air.
The men have lost their belief in their captain, their courage, their nautical skill, and even their will to live as they wait for the end. One moans and weeps aloud. Another, no braver, is silent, dumbstruck. One prays to the gods for mercy,
Please,
and another curses his fate.
curse you.
And one says one word,
Alcyone,
again and again,
Alcyone, my treasure, Alcyone!
and this is the end of the world.
O gods, hear my modest prayer, that I may wash ashore at her feet, where with gentle hands she may prepare it to be buried.
Nothing left but the slow parade to the underworld.
One, 2, 3, 4, 15, 16, 17, 18, 98, 99, 100. One, 2, 3, 4, 15, 16, 17, 98, 99, 100.
Look at her, Iris. She's moved her vigil down to the shore and now she's sleeping there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 15, 17, 18, 98, 99, 100. Sayix! Come home! I'm nearer now. I'm sleeping on the shore. It's not so far until you see me.
This can't go on forever. Go to the house of sleep and ask him to arrange a nighttime visitation. Something that may show our Alcyone the sorry truth.
remotus compania, beyond where the Cimmerians live in their gloomy caves, is a deeper and even darker grotto, the home of sleep. In this place, the sun never can, even at midday, penetrate with the faintest beams. No rooster dares disturb the silence with its rude crowing. No dog or nervous goose gives voice to challenge a passing stranger. Not even branches sigh in occasional passing breezes. But an almost total silence fills the air. At the heart of this almost painted stillness, in a huge, darkened chamber, the god himself relaxes, drifting in languor. Around him, fragments of ill-assorted dreams hover over the floor in grand profusion. Like leaves the trees have to let go to float through currents of air and fall into their gorgeous billows below.
Hello?
Into this strange and breathless place, Iris the Rainbow intrudes.
Oh, Solomon one. Solomon one.
What?
Smallest of all the gods, soother of souls, healer of weary and pain-racked bodies.
Iris, Iris, let me rest a moment. Iris, what do you want?
Devise, if you can, some form to resemble King Ceyx, and send him down to his wife, the queen Alcyone. Let her know of the wreck of his ship and the death of the husband she loves so well. Sleep. Do this for us. Can you?
Morpheus! Morpheus! Come and change to the shape of King Ceyx. Go to his wife and tell her he is dead. Oh, that's good. That's very good. Now go.
Sir? You seem like a seafaring man. Can you tell me, where is my husband Ceyx? Have you seen him? When is he coming home? His ship is strong and unmistakable. Have you seen him, sir?
Do you not know me? Has death undone me so?
No.
Look at me. I charge you, look at me.
No, I won't.
Look at me and know your husband's ghost. Your prayers have done no good, for I am gone beyond all help or hope forever.
Go away.
I'm not some bearer of tales, but the man of whom it happened. Look at me, my little bird.
I told you. I knew it would happen, and I begged you not to go. I knew from the day you sailed I had lost you forever. The ship, my life, and my hopes grew smaller all at the same time. You should have allowed me to come.
Little bird.
This is no good. This is no good that I should be living and you be elsewhere or nowhere. I'm drowning here on the land. I'm wrecked here where the currents are just as cold and cruel.
Get up from your bed and put on your morning clothes.
Wait, where are you going? Wait for me. Wait, where are you going? I'll go with you as wives are supposed to go with their husbands.
All that night, she searched along the shore for her drowned, dreamed husband, but she found nothing. Not even footprints, only wave after wave of black water. When morning came, she narrowed her eyes to the horizon and remembered how she had looked on that last day. She remembered his last kiss, the way he turned to the ship, could not bear it, and turned again to her.
What is that out there? Oh, it is a man. Alas, poor sailor, for your wife and...
The gods are not altogether unkind. Some prayers are answered.
Sakes, is this how you return to me?
She began to run to him, but as she ran, crying, a strange thing happened. By the time she reached him, she was a bird. She tried to kiss him with her bill, and by some trick of the ocean's heaving, it seemed that his head reached up to hers in response. You ask, how could he have felt her kiss?
But better ask, how could the gods not have felt it, seeing this and not had compassion?
For the dead body was changing, restored and renewed to life. Together, they still fly just over the water surface and mate and rear their young. And for 7 days each year, Alcyone broods on her nest just over the gentle water. For Aeolus, her father, then keeps the winds short-reined each year. The days we call the halcyon days.
Would, oh would I were kingfisher, who flies with the halcyons, along the breaking waves with a fearless heart. That noble bird, that holy bird, the deep blue of the ocean.
Wicka, 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 would I were a kingfisher, flies with the halcyons, long the breaking waves, fearless heart, noble bird, holy bird, deep blue ocean. Sorry.
When you see a miracle like that, how can you deny the existence of the gods? Believe it or not, there are some that do. There was a man called Erysichthon who used to deny the existence of the gods, sacrifice on their altars, or do them honor of any kind. Nothing was sacred to him. He only sought the usefulness in things. One day he found himself in a grove sacred to the goddess Ceres.
Cut it down.
Sir, this tree is centuries old.
We need the wood. Cut it down.
Sir, this is a grove sacred to the goddess Ceres.
It's just a tree the goddess likes. But let's say it was the goddess herself. I'd cut it down just the same.
Sir, please.
Get off me, you pious dog.
And he tore the tree down.
Who's that?
I am the tree itself speaking. My pangs of death are eased by one thing.
Oh, and what might that be, huh?
That you will not get away with it.
Oh, well, now I'm really frightened.
The goddess Ceres heard the cry of her tree, and her mind immediately began to move upon the torments she might inflict.
Yes. There is a place far off Scythia. Nothing grows there. No wheat, no grass, no trees. There you will find, huddling together, cold, fear, and gaunt hunger. Tell Hunger I command her to visit this brute and establish a home in his belly. I give him to her as a toy.
I will.
I would go myself, but it is forbidden for Hunger and I to ever meet.
Or it flew off to the Caucasus, a bleak and nightmarish region, where, crouched in a field of stones, sat Hunger. With her teeth and filthy fingernails, she pulled tiny bits of moss from the stones around her. Her hair hung low in lank and matted locks. Her eyes were sunken and circled. Her lips were slack and cracked. One could see the bones through her skin and count the knobs in her spine.
Hunger? Oh, the goddess Ceres commands you, or rather permits you to, to go to Erysichthon and never to leave him until he is finished.
Gladly.
Hunger flew through the air to the house of the victim. As she crawled overhead, birds scattered from her path, too weak to fly. Fields withered and men starved. It was night when she reached the home of Erysichthon, and she found him, sleeping in his room. She curdled through the halls, and when she got to him, she wrapped cadaverous arms around him in an embrace as strong as love, but quite the opposite of love. She breathed her spirit into his. And he began to dream.
Pastries, cheese, grapes.
He wakes.
Bring me something to eat. Anything. I'm starving.
But he can't wait to be served. He begins to eat everything in sight. Meal after meal after meal after meal. But he can't shake this hunger.
More. I need more to eat.
Baked shrimp and marshmallows, salami and ice cream, liver and donuts. Even as he eats, he is thinking of other menus and complaining of his hunger. As the ocean eats water from the rivers of the world and guzzles more and more forever, so too does he call out for more.
It isn't enough. It isn't enough.
His gorging empties the larder and storerooms, the warehouses and barns of the city. But his emptiness is unappeased. What is left to sell?
Mother.
My son.
Come with me.
Now this part is true, though you may not believe it. His hunger led him to sell his poor, his darling mother.
She doesn't look that strong. Oh, she is. We've had her forever.
I can't give you much.
Just give. Just whatever. Just give it to me.
All right, then.
With the few coins he received, he ran home to eat. Riding in a boat behind her new master, Erysichthon's mother leaned over the hole and began to pray to someone she once knew.
Poseidon, if you can hear me, come and save me now.
Poseidon heard her cry from the briny depths and pulled her into the water below, changing her back into the little girl who used to give him praise in childhood. The salty water licked the years away until she emerged, singing and dancing among the waves. This is the kind of sweet, unbidden praise that the gods adore and do not forget.
Hey, listen up. Have you seen the old woman that was here? Did she dive overboard and swim to shore?
Sir, I swear by the god of the sea that no one except for myself has been to the shore. I swear it.
To this day, somewhere in the world, you can still catch a glimpse of that child playing by the shore. But let us return to our king. It was not enough. The emptiness inside him was unappeased.
I need more! I must have more!
The godless are always hungry.
More!
Always yelling at waitresses.
I want more!
There can be only one end to such a man.
He will destroy himself.
Bon appetit.
Hi, everybody. I'm Pandora. No, not want to break from the ads. The original. My father-in-law Zeus gave me this box today. He said something like, here's this box, don't open it, blah, blah, blah. Contains the greatest evil in the world, something, something. Don't open it, for sure. But I'm bored and I don't respect any authority, especially not my father-in-law. Can you imagine? So, I kind of want to open it anyways. What the heck? What could possibly go wrong? And... What is this? Some kind of strange tablet? So bright. Ugh. What's the internet?
You've heard of Orpheus, the greatest musician of all time, and his bride Eurydice? His was the unluckiest of wedding days. Orpheus and Eurydice, number 1, Ovid, AD 8. Orpheus, the widower bride, mourned her in the upper world, but his grief was limitless. Inconsolable, desperate, he left the warmth and sweetness of our air and dared to descend to the river Styx. And crossed it to the other world. Dim domain with all its buried, shimmering ghosts he passed, until he arrived at its melancholy heart, and found its king with Persephone. He knelt before them, drowning in his grief.
I don't know what power love has down here, but I've heard that he has some, for he brought you two together. If that is true, then passion moved you once, then listen to me. Listen to me! I have tried to master this grief, but I can't. I understand the way I'll end up here in the end, but my bride Eurydice will soon enough be your citizen, and in the ripeness of her years, I'm asking for a loan, not a gift. One thing is certain. If you deny me, I want you to keep me here as well.
As Orpheus spoke, the pale phantoms began to weep. Tantalus was no longer thirsty, and Sisyphus sat on his rock to listen.
Orpheus, turn around. Eurydice. Your song has moved us, Orpheus, and you may have her on one condition. As you leave this place, she will not be walking beside you, but she will be behind you. You must not turn to look at her before you pass our gates. For if you face her before the sunlight hits your face, she will be ours forever.
I understand.
Hermes will accompany you. Remember, doubt or hesitation, and our gift must be returned. A simple enough condition.
It ought to have been. The singer led the way, ascending the sloping path through the murk. We traveled a long way, almost all the way, but you know what happened. Concern for her, or not quite believing that it wasn't some cruel delusion or a dream or a mirage, he turned.
Farewell.
That was his last sight of her, but he saw it again and again.
Farewell.
Is this the story of love and how it always goes away?
Farewell.
Or a story of time and how it moves only in one direction? Or is this the story of an artist and the loss that comes from sudden self-consciousness or impatience?
Number 2, Reiner Maria Rilke, AD 1908.
He said to himself they had to be behind him. Said it aloud, heard it fade away. They had to be behind him. But their steps were so ominously soft. If only he could turn around. Just once.
But looking back would ruin this entire work. so near completion.
But then he could not fail to see them. Those two who followed him so softly.
The god of speed and distant messages. A golden crown above his brow. A slender staff held out in front of him. And little wings fluttering at his ankles. And on his left arm, barely touching it. She.
A woman so loved that from one lyre there came more lament than from all lamenting women. That a whole world arose. And around this lament world, even as around the other earth, a sun revolves, and a silent star-filled heaven with its own disfigured stars. So greatly was she loved.
But now she walked behind the graceful god, her steps constricted by the trailing grave clothes.
Uncertain, gentle, and without impatience.
She was deep within herself, like a woman heavy with child. She could not see the man in front or the path ascending steeply into life. Deep within herself. Being dead filled her beyond fulfillment, like a fruit suffused with its own mystery and sweetness. She was filled with her vast death, which was so new to her she could not understand that it had happened.
She had come into a New Virginia and was untouchable. Her sex had closed like a young flower in the nightfall. And the god's gentle touch became unbearable, like an undesired kiss.
She was no longer that woman with brown eyes who had once echoed the poet's songs. No longer the wide couch of scent and island. And that man's property. No longer.
She was already loosened like long hair, poured out like fallen rain, shared like a limitless supply.
And when abruptly the god put out his hand to stop her, saying, with sorrow in his voice,
He has turned around.
she could not understand and softly answered,
Who? Far away, dark beyond the shining exit gates, someone or other stood whose features were unrecognizable.
He stood and saw off the strip of the road in the meadows with a mournful look. The god of messages turned to follow the small figure who had already begun walking back along the path, her steps constricted by the trailing grave clothes.
uncertain, gentle, and without impatience.
Now, I'm no narcissist, but holy Gaia, do I look good today. I mean, if I could just look at something and just see myself all the time, I think I might freeze and turn into a plant.
Wait, oh no. Happened again.
Of course it did.
Get this for me.
Stop bringing him here.
Oh no! He's the one with a driver's license. Most beautiful man in the world. Not so much if you keep eating like this.
There lived at one time a wood nymph named Pomona, whose skill in the care of plants and trees has never been equaled. She hardly noticed the rivers and forests, but she loved the fields and orchards. These were her passion, her life. She didn't disdain Aphrodite so much as ignore her. She kept aloof from any suitor. There was, however, one suitor, the god of springtime, Vertumnus. He He was
in love
with her more than all the rest.
He adored her.
In the manner of the Shire gods, he used to disguise himself. He would put on the clothes of a working man and wear a farmhand's shirt, a straw hat, and stick hay stalks behind his ears, trying to look like some storybook yokel.
Howdy!
After that failed, he thought he might hold in his hand a pruner, trying to look like some field hand trying to tend the grapes in their arbors. After that failed, he thought he might grab a ladder, as though he were going to gather the apples in their nearby orchards.
Okay.
Once, with wig, costume, and makeup, he thought he might dress up as a soldier. Romantically returned from foreign wars. Once he set himself up as a fisherman, and he fished in her path on the hope that she might pass by. He passed from boredom to terror and back again.
The point was just to be near her.
Sit there and gaze at her beauty.
Or to wish her good morning.
Or
good afternoon.
Or
Good evening.
before she plodded on by.
I live for these trivial moments.
One day, he thought he might put on the wig and dress of an old woman and walk through the green fields until he saw her, his beloved, standing in the fields of lavender.
Lovely, truly lovely. But you, miss, are lovelier still. Whoops! Look at that, would ya? How the tree and vine complement each other. They complete each other. To separate, they aren't much, but together they're splendid. There's a lesson in that, my dear, one that you might consider. The way you've been keeping yourself is no good. It's a sad violation of nature as well as a waste. A lover is what you need to make you complete as a woman. You've had many choices, I think, as many as Helen. But there's one in particular I'd recommend. Bird's Highness. I know him as well as I know myself, and I guarantee his eyes are for you alone. Consider, he's young, attractive, healthy, and strong. I mean, your choices too are the same, for he likes flowers and trees almost as much as you. I mean, he's fun. He takes on various disguises. It's a game he likes to play. And besides, you may take these words as if they were coming from his own mouth.
None of this was working.
Listen, aren't you afraid of offending Aphrodite? Don't you know the story?
What story?
The story of Sinris. His daughter Mira. And Aphrodite.
No? And he began to tell her.
Part one, the mistake. There was a girl like you named Mira, and she too ignored Aphrodite. She wouldn't fall in love. There were suitors everywhere. But she was blind to them. Finally, Aphrodite had had enough and seized her with a passion.
So?
It was a passion for her father.
That isn't true.
It is.
You can shut yourself in a room, bolt the door, but love will come through the window. Lock the curtains, draw the casement, but love will seep through the walls. Never think that you can be safe from love!
She struggled hard against her passion.
Oh, gods, I pray you. Even to think what I am thinking is a crime. Or is it a crime? The animals I've seen will do as they desire. The ram goes to the ewe he has sired, and the birds will make a nest with those that the nest once held. How happy they are to be so free. But we have laws. Yet there are countries out there, I've heard, where no such laws exist, where in the dark, the bonds of love, already strong, might be made perfect. Why do I keep thinking of those? Leave me alone! He is the best of men, the best of fathers. You have been virtuous in body, Mira. Now be so in mind.
Mira,
Father?
why are you crying?
It's nothing, nothing.
Why should a girl like you be sad? Every day we have suitors at our doors, and yet you refuse them and weep in the corners of the house. Is there someone special?
No,
Then what are you waiting for?
nothing.
None of them pleases you.
No.
Then what kind of husband would you like?
One like you.
May you always be such a sweet girl.
Midnight came, and sleep crept through the palace to fold men in his arms. But Mira could not sleep. Tangled in a dream of her father, she tossed all night long, caught between her shame and her desire, like a tree once wounded by a woodman's axe, that leans first in the wind one way and then another, hesitates but always falls.
Part 2, the solution.
Mira, what are you doing? My child, what are you doing? Nurse, leave me alone. I can help you. The old are not altogether helpless.
Has someone bewitched you? Spells may be broken, or have you crossed some god? Still, you may look to appease by prayers and sacrifices even the heavens' anger. But what can it be? Your father and mother are well. I know. It is love. It must be love. Only tell me. I can help you. Whatever it is, whatever you want, I swear by the gods to help you. Only tell me. Your father will never know.
Go away.
But why?
Go away or stop it. Stop asking why I grieve. The thing you're trying to learn is a crime.
This went on and on, but the old nurse would not give up.
Oh, mother, happy in your husband.
But what does your mother have to do with it? Oh, child. Whisper in my ear and tell me I'm wrong. I swore to help you, and now I must. Tomorrow, your mother leaves for the feast of Ceres. She will be gone 9 days. Your father will drink. He will be likely, as any man can be, to listen to my suggestion. That a pretty girl adores you, loves you, and wants to visit your bedroom, can't she?
She's attractive.
Yes, and young.
How young?
Your daughter's age?
All right, then.
There's only one condition. She's shy,
How charming.
Part 3. The chords.
In the small hours of the night, when the moon had fled from the sky and the stars were concealing themselves in a shroud of cloud, the girl sets out for her father's apartment. She stumbles, recognized this as an omen, but nevertheless turned down the hallway. She continues down the corridor, clutching her nurse's arm for support. The hall was apparently endless, but then, too soon, they arrive at the door.
Your girl is here.
Part 4. Unnameable.
Before the sun arose the next morning, the girl slips out of the room, guilty but shameless.
There's nothing to fear or to hope for now.
The next night, she returns.
Because twice is no worse than once.
And the third night, she's back again.
Let me see you.
No,
But I want to see you.
no.
Let me see you!
She escaped into the darkness, out of the room, the house, the city, to remote and exotic lands, even as far as the Arab wilderness.
Oh gods, I pray you, change me, transform me entirely. Let me step out of my own heart.
Someone must have heard her prayer, or she did change.
Some say she changed into a tree.
Some say she gave birth to a boy called Adonis.
Others contend that she dissolved into tears.
And this last was not a mere expression, some rhetoric turn or poetic and hyperbolic trope, but simply the unadorned, terrible truth. She stepped into a shimmering stream and began to dissolve. Her body melted.
And then she was gone.
This story got Vertumnus nowhere.
Why are you wearing that ridiculous wig?
I don't know.
Take it off.
I'm embarrassed.
Take it off. And take off that idiotic dress too.
When at last the god revealed himself, just as he was, much to his surprise, he had no need of words. Little Pomona was happy with what she saw, unadorned and undisguised. Soon enough, the vine was clinging to the tree.
My parents separated when I was really little. It was a one-night sort of thing, except it happened during the day, in the meadow, where my mother used to watch my father pass by on his way to work. I actually always knew who my father was. I mean, I'd see him pass by every day. Who doesn't? But I never really knew him. He wasn't around, at least not around.
Where better might we look for a more precise illustration of the dangers of premature initiation than in this ancient tale of alternating parental indulgence and neglect?
So I used to go to this school for kids of the rich and famous. And one day I was on the playground with this kid, Epaphus. And he said to me, "So who's your dad?" Blah, blah, blah. Where does he work? What does he do? Blah, blah, blah. And I said, "Well, he's the sun." And he said, "Tell me another." And I said, "No, really, he's the sun. He's Phoebus Apollo." And he just basically trampled me. Just kicked the hell out of me like I was lying.
Neither his own opinion of himself, nor the regard for him, or lack of it in his peers, obviates the father's primitive role as initiating priest for the younger being. Now, it cannot be contested that the absence of this figure is, for the son, an almost irredeemable loss.
So I go home to my mom and I say, "Mom, this happened, at school today." And she starts to cry because she still loves him, and it's an insult to her as well. I say, "Well, Mom, how come there's no proof of us? It's unfair to us that there's no proof of it." And she says, "My son, by his glory and splendor, your father gives us many things. That fiery orb which crosses the sky each day, which enlivens and enables our world, which orders our days and nights, is indeed your father. Believe me, my darling." Blah, blah, blah.
When he matures beyond the customary Eden of the mother breast, the child seeks to individuate beyond its enfolding gate and turns to the new symbols of the paternal realm, thus signifying a spiritual passage from one phase to the next.
So she tells me to go across the valley to where my dad goes to work every day, to have him do right by me, So I set out, and it's long, and it's hot, and it's dusty, and it's such a long ways across Ethiopia. And part of the time I walk, and part of the time I hitch a ride, and finally I get there, and there's a hill that's steep.
But this passage is never easy.
At the door are my father's secretaries, the days, the hours, and centuries, and they recognize me, and they say, "Go on in." And there behind the door is my father, shining and golden. And he says, "My son, you are welcome."
"My son, you are welcome."
"Speak, Phaeton, to your father."
"Speak, Phaeton, to your father."
And I cannot even tell you what this means to me, so I just spill my guts, I tell him everything. And he says, "Let me grant you a favor."
"Let me grant you a favor."
"Whatever you ask shall be yours."
"Whatever you ask shall be yours."
And he swears to it.
The conventional exordium of the initiate from latent to realized potential is inevitably accompanied by a radical realignment of his emotional relationship with the imago of parental authority.
So there's only one thing I want, right? I mean, it's obvious. I say, "Give me the keys to your car." And immediately he starts backpedaling, saying that it's his job.
"It's my job."
That he's the only one who can do it.
"You can't do it."
That in the sky there's a bull and a lion and a scorpion.
"There's a scorpion."
To get me,
The father or his substitute must be assured that the son no longer is operating from infantile complexes, Complexes that might dangerously redirect his new task through this aggrandizement, or personal preference, or even resentment.
I say, where have you been all my life, Dad? It's my turn. I want to light the sky today. Give me the keys. So finally, he hands over the reins. And he won't stop giving me advice from the back seat, like, don't fly too high.
Don't fly too high!
Nor too low. Stay within the tracks. Go slantwise.
Go slantwise!
But I didn't listen.
Myths are the earliest form of science.
It was over before I began. I couldn't see, it was so bright. My knees were weak, and I crashed into the world. It just completely and utterly destroyed me, you know? In a moment, it was over. O-V-E-R.
It has been said that myths are forms of public dreams. Dreams are private myths. Now, unfortunately, we pay our mythic side scant attention these days, and as a result, much passes us by, and we no longer understand our own actions. Therefore, it remains important and salutary for us to speak not only of the rational and easily understood, but also of enigmatic things, things that are irrational and ambiguous, to speak both privately and publicly.
Who's this?
This is Eros, god of love,
Why does he have wings?
so he can move quickly from body to body,
Why is he naked?
to make us transparent.
To make us what?
Transparent in our love, foolish to others, exposed.
Why is he blind?
He is always pictured blind, but he really isn't.
Because in love we are so ignorant and compulsive.
There's that.
What else?
He is blind to show how he takes away our ordinary vision, our mistaken vision that depends on the appearance of things.
Who's this coming down the stairs?
Her name is Psyche.
Psyche. Her name is Psyche?
Yes,
What's she doing here?
she's married to the god, but she's never actually seen him.
Why is that?
He forbids it.
How'd they meet?
Psyche was so beautiful that the goddess Aphrodite hated her, so she sent her son to punish her. But instead, he fell in love.
Does she know that he is a god?
No. She suspects he is a monster.
Haven't they been together?
Oh, yes.
How was that?
It was good.
Then why does she still suspect he is a monster?
Her jealous sisters told her so.
And she listened to them.
Unfortunately, yes.
So now she's coming to see him as he sleeps.
Yes.
To make certain.
Yes.
Her eyes.
Yes. She's very young. It happens all the time.
She doesn't believe what she herself has felt.
Not with the radical trust we need.
What does the word psyche mean?
In Greek, it means the soul.
What will happen to her now?
She's going to suffer.
And?
She's going to suffer.
And?
She's going to suffer.
What will she have to do?
She's given horrible and lonely tasks by the goddess Aphrodite.
Such as?
Sorting thousands of little seeds one from the other.
How will she manage?
Some little insects help her.
Like in the fairy tales?
Like in all the fairy tales.
What else?
She has to go down to the underworld, fetch various things.
Wasn't she frightened?
She was petrified, but she did it all the same.
Wasn't it hopeless?
It was hopeless, but she did it all the same.
What did love do in the meantime?
He healed his little wound. It hurt him so much when she looked at him like that the wax from the candle fell on him and burnt him.
How does it end?
It has a happy ending. Zeus declares enough's enough, and he lets Psyche go.
He overrides love's mother.
Yes, and further, he gives Psyche a special potion that will make her immortal. And then he declares that their marriage will last forever.
Does it?
Of course.
None of these stories have completely happy endings.
This is different.
Why is that?
It's just so inevitable. Our love wanders in the dark until it finds our soul. So, wherever our love goes, there, we find our soul.
So, it always happens.
If we let ourselves be blind.
Instead of always watching out.
Instead of always watching out.
If you will indulge us, we have one more tale to tell. A coda, if you will.
It happened that one night, Zeus, the Lord of the Heavens, and Hermes came down to Earth to see what people were really like. They disguised themselves as two old beggars, stinking and poor, ragged and filthy. They knocked on 1,000 doors.
Hello? Do you have any spare? Get out of here! Get the hell out of here! I work hard for my money!
And 1,000 doors were slammed on them.
Hello? We're hungry. We've lived on the streets. We thought that you might...
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry.
At last, they came to a little hut on the outskirts of town.
Why bother knocking here? We've knocked in houses with people plenty to spare. Obviously, whoever lives here has nothing.
Let's give it a try all the same. We've come all this way.
This is hopeless. Let's go home.
Oh, poor strangers. Baleen, and there are guests at our door.
Hello, we are strangers in these parts, and we've lost our way. Please,
Bacchus, what are you doing standing there? We need to get our guests inside.
Do you know us?
Of course.
You do?
Yes.
Then who are we?
You are children of God.
The two immortals, satisfied that their disguises had not been seen through, entered the house.
Don't sit on the ground. Sit on chairs as quality people do.
Philemon ran to get chairs.
And Bacchus brought out 2 cloth pads so the strangers might rest easily.
She stirred the coals on the hearth and fanned the fire to cook them a meal.
Philemon set out the embroidered cloth that they saved for feast days.
Bacchus saw that one of the legs on the chair was short, so she propped it up with the shard of a pot.
And Philemon brought out a plate of olives, red ones and black, and a saucer of cherry plums.
There was cabbage and roasted eggs.
For dessert, there were nuts, figs, dates, and plums.
And a bowl of ripe apples.
Remember how apples smell?
At last, with a show of modest pride, they brought out a bit of honeycomb for sweetness, and Philemon poured wine from a bottle. But as he filled the glasses of the guests, he saw that the bottle remained full.
And then they knew.
Oh, mercy, mercy! Oh!
You are divine, and we gave you such a simple meal. Bacchus, go kill the goose.
Oh, let it be. We are gods, and we thank you. You have done enough. More than your nasty neighbors thought to do.
Suddenly, everything was changing. Their poor little house, their simple cottage was becoming grander and grander, a glittering marble columned temple. The straw and reeds of the thatched roof metamorphosed into gold, and gates with elaborate carving sprang up as ground gave way to marble paving stones.
Old man, old woman, ask us what you will. We shall grant whatever wish you ask of us.
Seeing as we have lived together our whole lives, we ask that you allow us to die at the same moment.
I would hate to see my wife's grave and for her to weep at mine.
The gods granted their wish. Arrived at a very old age together, the two stood at what had been their modest doorway and was now a grandiose facade.
And Bacchus noticed that her husband was beginning to put forth fruit. And she saw that she too was producing leaves and bark. They were turning into trees. They stood there, held each other, and called before the bark closed over their mouths.
Farewell.
Walking down the street at night, when you're all alone, you can still hear, stirring in the intermingled branches of the trees above, the ardent prayer of Bacchus and Philemon.
They whispered,
Let me die the moment my love dies.
They whispered,
Let me not outlive my own capacity to love.
They whisper,
Let me die still loving, and so
Never die.